The 6 judges made their way to a silent court shortly after 11 o'clock, each holding a document carrying their summary of findings after a 2-day hearing and 2 days of considering the presentations before them. After explaining the absence of Justice Mohammed Ibrahim, who was taken ill in the middle of the petition, and before proceeding to read a majority finding of 4 against 2 judges, Chief Justice David Maraga had a message to the country.
The greatness of a nation lies in its fidelity to its constitution and a strict adherence to the rule of law, and above all, the fear of God.
CJ Maraga proceeding to lay grounds of determination rooted in the constitutional provisions and the electoral laws that the judges relied on in assessing whether the electoral body IEBC handled the presidential election in a manner that could pass the integrity test.
The first respondent failed, neglected, or refused to conduct the presidential election in a manner consistent with the dictates of the Constitution and inter alia the Elections Act, Chapter 7 of the laws of Kenya.
During submissions before the court, Raila Odinga's lawyer had cited flaws in results declaration forms electronically transmitted from polling stations to constituency tallying centres and from the constituencies to the National Tallying Centre. Despite spirited defence and explanation from IEBC Council, the judges were satisfied that the Electoral Commission was guilty as charged.
The court was satisfied that the first respondent committed irregularities and illegalities inter alia in the transmission of results, particulars and the substance of which will be given in the detailed and reasoned judgment of the court.
While IEBC and Uhuru Kenyatta's lawyers had argued that the errors were mere clerical and not sufficient to affect the presidential election outcome, majority of the judges held that the integrity of the process had been lost.
That the presidential election held on 8th August 2017 was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution and the applicable law, rendering the declared results invalid, null, and void.
But the judges were unanimous that President Kenyatta, who, as the IEBC declared winner, was also cited as the third respondent, had not committed any electoral malpractices.
The court, however, found no evidence of misconduct on the part of the third respondent.
The judges saying they will provide the full account of their finding in the next 3 weeks, that even though their decision has to be sufficiently explained, they are confident of their finding.
Election is not an event. It is a process from the beginning to the end. We will, I believe, be able to demonstrate why we reached our conclusion that taking the totality of the entire exercise, we were satisfied that the election was not conducted in accordance with the dictates of the Constitution.
And with that, the electorate has no choice but to return to the ballot by the 31st of October to perform a duty that IEBC must do all it takes to ensure that it complies with the constitutional provisions and those of the electoral laws. Sam Kitoko, Citizen TV, at the Supreme Court of Kenya, Nairobi.